when the Decepticons have completely taken over the world, and then there are freedom fighters. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 123, and in this episode, I would like to talk about every Transformers fan's favorite aspect about the Transformers live-action films. That would be the humans. Hashtag sarcasm. Anyways, before I talk about that, I would like to follow up on a topic that I talked about in episode number 18, and that is by talking about every Transformers fan's favorite human being, and that would be Michael Bay. Okay. Alright, okay, I'm done with that. But yeah, I would like to talk about Michael Bay because back in episode number 118, I mentioned that Michael Bay will be directing Transformers 7 in 2021. Now, that was just my speculation on Michael Bay's part, but there was a little bit of confusion that was created from that video. And that is because I said Transformers 7 is coming in 2021, and a lot of people were like, wait a minute, isn't Transformers 7 coming on 2019? You know what? You are absolutely correct. But the reason why I said Transformers 7 is coming out in 2021 is because I don't actually refer to the Bumblebee spin-off film as Transformers 6. Hasbro and Paramount Pictures released this image which says Transformers 6 is the Bumblebee spin-off film, which comes out next year in 2018, followed by Transformers 7 in 2019. For lack of, or rather, for not wanting to confuse anybody, I will go with this image. I will go with what it says here, but I still don't consider the Bumblebee spin-off film that comes out next year as Transformers 6. After all, Lorenzo de Bonaventura, the producer, said that the Bumblebee spin-off film could be a prequel. So, chronologically, if it was a prequel, that doesn't mean it's Transformers 6. It is the 6th installment in the Transformers live-action franchise, but it's definitely not Transformers 6. But, you know, I'm cool with the prequel, just because, you know, it's good to know that it doesn't have to be linear. It's cool to know that they're expanding the universe by telling some of the backstories of the main characters. So that's really, really cool. You know, what they're doing with the Transformers cinematic universe is obviously they are, you know, they were inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they're following the Star Wars release model. And that is a main film, and then a spin-off film, and then a main film, and then a spin-off film, and then a main film. Because the fact is that you cannot make, or rather produce, two main films consecutively, one after the other. You just can't. It takes 2 years to make a main film. 2 or more years to make a main film. So that's why Transformers came out in 2007, Revenge of the Fallen came out in 2009, Dark of the Moon came out in 2011, Age of Extinction came out in 2014 because Michael Bay wanted to make a small film and then a Transformers film. And that combined takes 3 years. And then Michael Bay decided to make a small film, 13 hours, and then The Last Night, which is released now. So 2014 was Age of Extinction, 2017 is The Last Night. 2018 is Bumblebee, which won't be directed by Michael Bay. Transformers 7 is coming out in 2019, which I'm positive will not be directed by Michael Bay, because that's only a 2-year gap between Transformers Last Night and Transformers 7, which means he would have to start pre-production on it like right after the release of Transformers Last Night. It's impossible for him to direct Bumblebee just because he's gonna jump right into filming right after Transformers Last Night. He was not involved in pre-production. So him directing Bumblebee, him directing Transformers 7 is not happening. Now, what happens after 2019? 2020. Now, 2020, they don't have a schedule for. The reason why is they don't want to put their eggs all in one basket. What if one of these films that comes in 2018 or 2019 fail? You know, you don't want to mess with that. So it's good that they didn't mention anything, so it leaves 2020 and beyond up for speculation. So I'm going to speculate on that. 2020 could be nothing at all. We might not get anything at all, just because they haven't talked about it. Or we're going to get our next spin-off film, which could potentially be Transformers 1, which is a tentative title for the animated Cybertron prequel. So it could be nothing, it could be a character spin-off film, or it could be the Cybertron prequel film. Okay, so that's what's going to happen in 2020. Then next is 2021, Transformers 8. And that could be directed by Michael Bay. As a matter of fact, I believe that Michael Bay will come back in 2021 for Transformers 8. And that is because there's been a long enough gap between directing Transformers The Last Night and the film that whatever Transformers ends up being released in 2021, whether it be Transformers 8 or whatever, right? So that's a pretty huge gap. I think he will have been well rested, and it makes sense, right? He's got enough time between films, and in 2022, character spinoff, 2023, Transformers 9, 2024, another character spinoff, and then 2025, Transformers 10, and then it will have ended. And by saying that it ended, it means that they're just going with what they said, and that is, one of the writers from the writer's room said that they have enough stories for the next 10 years. And he was quoted saying that back in 2015. So, of course, 2015, 10 years later, is 2025. So, 2025, if they follow the schedule, like exactly as the way they planned it, 2025 will be when Transformers 10 comes out, and then either they will have to meet again or they will have to reboot it and then see what happens after that. So, as for Michael Bay directing 2021, I think it's a high possibility, mainly because he has a big gap between working on Transformers films. He gets an opportunity to work on one or two small films before he goes back to a Transformers film. He has a great relationship with Paramount Pictures. He doesn't want to ruin that. He's got to make them happy. But Paramount Pictures also has to make Michael Bay happy by allowing him to direct smaller films. Now, the interesting thing about, Michael Bay as a director is that recently it's been him wanting to direct his own films. Pain and Gain, 13 Hours. It's never been a studio other than Paramount Pictures wanting him to direct a film. It's never like Warner Brothers or Sony or who else is there? 20th Century Fox saying that, you know what, we have a movie and we think Michael Bay should direct this film. That hasn't happened for a very, very long time. Instead, it's Paramount Pictures saying that, hey, we want you to direct another Transformers film. And then a few years later, hey, we want you to direct another Transformers film. But as for non-Transformers films, it's always Michael Bay saying, like, I want to direct this film. So that just tells you that what else is he really going to direct? Seriously. He's going to end up producing a lot of other films, but what else is he really going to direct other than a film that he wants to direct? So never say never. If he ends up coming back to direct another Transformers sequel in 2021, he's going to say that, I never said that I wasn't coming back. I was saying that I most likely won't come back. But never say never. After all, like I said, he's got a great relationship with Paramount Pictures, and it's not about money. A lot of people say that he threw bags of money at him. Yeah, for the first 3 films. But it's not about money. He has his own jet. He doesn't need money, okay? So, anyways, yeah, there you have it. Let's talk about everybody's favorite topic, and that would be humans. Now, the only reason why I'm talking about humans is because of this question. This is a very, very good question, and it came from Brandon Eberhardt, and he says, why would humans be fighting the Autobots again? They did that twice now, and the Autobots saved them. In the end of Age of Extinction, the humans respected the Autobots, so what happened? You should address this. It makes no sense. I'm going to address it right now, and this is a very, very good question. Let's talk about humans in the Transformers live-action universe. Aliens or Cybertronians came down. Nobody knows what the heck they are. Sam Witwicky befriended one. Sector 7 studied them and wanted to get to know more about them. But at the end of all of this, they were still very, very mysterious. Revenge of the Fallen. Nest formed an alliance with the Autobots, and they formed it to hunt down Decepticons. But besides that, there was the Autobots were never really considered as a threat. Now, fast forward to Dark of the Moon, Nest is still around, they're still working with Autobots, but then you have a single human, and maybe an organization, that wanted to take down the Autobots because of an alien invasion. Dylan made a deal with Megatron or Sentinel Prime, yeah, one of those, I forgot. And then, and that is and that is for the purpose of survival. So this is our first look at a human going up against Autobots, like an evil human, all right? Fast forward to Age of Extinction, there's an entire organization called Cemetery Wind, which is out there to hunt Autobots. And they are doing it aggressively, and they're taking them out. They killed Leadfoot, they killed Ratchet. Who else? Who knows who else they killed? But I'm gonna say it. Sideswipe is dead. Excuse me. Cough, cough. But anyways, so that's what they've been doing. And then of course there was KSI, an organization which was able to manufacture and create their own Transformers. So that in itself posed a really, really big threat. Fast forward to Transformers Last Night, which is what Brandon Eberhard is referring to. Why are people still hunting Autobots? So there's this new group. I don't know what they're called. They got the upside down V, and they are hunting all Cybertronians, not just Autobots, not just Decepticons, all Cybertronians. They are all perceived as a threat, and Brandon wants to know, why are they still doing this? At the end of Age of Extinction, I thought the humans respected the Autobots. Okay, so the reason why this is a very, very good question is because you're looking at it from a storytelling perspective, but you're not looking at it from a realistic perspective. Sure, they saved the day in Hong Kong, okay? But that's all they really did. The rest of the world doesn't know what they did. I mean, sure, they might have seen it on the news, but they weren't there to witness a potential global domination from Galvatron and the Seed. Like, they weren't there. They don't know anything about that. And the best thing for the media to do is not blow it out of proportion. All right. Otherwise, you create fear and mass hysteria and rioting and, you know, end of the world type biblical nonsense, right? Apocalypse type stuff, right? So let's just say that the rest of the world doesn't know all about it. So at the end of the day, they don't really know what the Autobots did, other than the fact that they just saved Hong Kong. Okay, that was an isolated incident. Now, from the realistic standpoint, what is going on around the world today, right now? Xenophobia, racism, you know, a lot of that's going on right now. And what we're seeing in Transformers Last Night is a huge reflection of what's going on around the world right now. I don't mean to get political or anything, but this is a very, very realistic response to Cybertronians being on Earth. In real life, if aliens, even friendly aliens, were to come into this world, there would still be another organization that would want to take them out. It's true, because they fear them. We fear what we don't understand. And once we fear them, it creates hate. It's kind of like the pathway to the Sith. Fear creates anger, anger creates hate, hate leads to the dark side. And these guys who are out there to exterminate both Autobots and Decepticons, they are the ones that are in the dark side. They are not the ones who are open-minded, who want to befriend Autobots. They don't care about all of that. They just think of them as foreign enemies, and they're there out to take out enemies from that are foreign. So only humans and animals and mammals can be on this earth, but not aliens. Aliens have got to go, and that is exactly why humans are still fighting with Autobots, and it'll be forever. It'll be forever for the next 10 years that humans will always fear Cybertronians. It's true. It doesn't matter how friendly the Autobots are. It's always gonna happen. It's because of fear. People fear what they don't understand. And Autobots and Decepticons, Cybertronians, they're always going to be something that humans, or at least not all humans, could possibly comprehend. It's beyond our comprehension. So that is why the fighting will always exist, and that is why there will always be conflicts, and that is why it creates for great stories in the Transformers cinematic universe. As long as there's fighting, there will always be Transformers films. So at least be thankful for that. I don't ever want to see humans always, like, you know, being friendly with Autobots. Like, you know, it makes it feel like it makes everything's too simple. Like, humans, Autobots on the same side fighting Decepticons together, there will no longer be Decepticons. Seriously. So there will no longer be a threat. Like, what is the point of making these movies or telling these stories anymore? the fact is that Autobots have to always be in a state of like being in defensive mode, because they have to worry about humans. They're on a foreign land, and they also have to worry about their own enemies, and that is Decepticons. And that is why humans will always exist. Now, if you have a problem with that, then you don't understand the Transformers concept as a whole. Transformers G1, the very first episode, was all about these aliens coming to Earth and adapting to being on Earth. Okay, that's what it's about. The episodes that took place, there was this Japanese series, I forgot what it was called, but it was very, very forgettable. I know a lot of people liked it, but it was like part of the Unicron series or something, or Headmaster. Headmasters was okay, but like there was some episodes or series where it took place entirely outside of Earth, and it didn't do as well. Like, it wasn't as well as perceived, and the main reason why is because there's no connection. There's no connection, as in, like, there's no connection to the characters, because I like knowing that there are human characters, so I can connect with what they're going through by seeing these foreign elements. Once you take that out and make it completely science fiction, you end up with season 3 and 4 of Generation 1. And season 3 and 4 were not the greatest, because, like, let's face it, they did some really, really weird, out of this world, like literally out of this world stuff that just didn't make for great episodes. The greatest episodes were the ones with Spike and Sparkplug on Earth. And those made for some really great episodes, because you had humans in distress, which is like just something very, very, like, it's a story that works. So anyways, that's why humans have to exist. It makes for a great story. But if you want to see a Transformers film without humans, then you gotta wait for the animated Cybertron prequel, which is actually happening, from Ant-Man writers Gabriel Ferrari and Andrew Barrer. They're making it happen. They're the writers for the animated Cybertron prequel, tentatively titled Transformers 1. Anyways, so that's what's gonna happen. All the way to Transformers 10, there will still be humans fighting Autobots, believe me. The only time we will not see humans, or at least a very, very minimal humans, not fighting Autobots and Decepticons, is when the Decepticons have completely taken over the world, and then there are freedom fighters, and which makes sense for humans to work with Autobots. And there you have it. That's all I got to say in this episode. This was a really good question, and I'm glad I was able to address that. So thank you, Brendan Eberhardt, for bringing that to my attention. And you know, it's great for us to be able to have a discussion like this. This is an opportunity for us to really just understand why these decisions are being made. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. As always, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace. Now, moving on, and speaking more about Megatron wasn't only revealed at New York Toy Fair, but it was also revealed